On the east side of the Rocky Mountains, 5,440 feet above sea level, is the city of Boulder, Colorado. Once a destination for miners in the 1850s, it also became the home for the University of Colorado, which was founded in 1876. The campus is located at the foot of the Flatirons, and one of its focal points is Folsom Field, home of the University of Colorado Buffaloes.
Here at Folsom Field, I think once you're in this stadium, you see how majestic it really is on a Saturday afternoon, again, butted up against those Flatirons. There's nothing like it. I mean, it's just flat out beautiful.
It's a beautiful place, and it's hard to imagine playing a rugged game in such a beautiful setting, but the mountains are rugged. The Buffalo's rugged. You'd like to think that a team does take on that kind of a personality.
Yeah, I think the stadium fits in. They're tucked right into the mountains and into the Flatirons, actually. They're just a sheer rock formation. And if you look at it from any angle, it looks like an iron that you might have sitting up on your ironing board.
The mountains, they soothe you. The mountains really calm you out and make you mellow. And I think that's, people come here and they come from bad environments and they come from all over. But when they get here, it's a lot more peaceful. They're able to kind of find themselves. And these mountains are mystic.
Now entering its 117th season, the Buff football program has been one of the nation's most dominant football programs since its inception, winning numerous conference titles and a national championship in 1990 under Coach Bill McCartney. Some great CU players include Michael Westbrook, Cordell Stewart, and running back Rashaan Salam, who became the first Buff to win the Heisman Trophy in 1994.
When you talk about Colorado football and great moments, you're going to get varied answers. But you go back to the Bill McCartney era in the late 80s and early 90s when he took this program over, and it was coming off just a dismal period in its history. And he kind of resurrected the program. And ultimately, in 1989, Colorado played Notre Dame for the national championship and lost that game. They come back the following year and once again met Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl and beat the Fighting Irish for the national championship to finish up 11-1-1 that season. And I think that moment right there, I think, is probably the signature moment in University of Colorado football.
I tell you what, winning the national championship here at the University of Colorado just makes it all the more special. It was going to be special regardless of whether or not we beat Notre Dame back in 1991 in the national championship game. But it really just, it's the exclamation point to what was a brilliant environment and a special place to participate in intercollegiate athletics.
I think each team has its own character, maybe under its own coach. You know, they were pretty darn good under Dal Ward and then Sonny Grandelius in the 50s and 60s. But I think Colorado football came to its own on the national scale under Bill McCartney. I think Bill McCartney was the pioneer of modern era Colorado football. And I think Dan Hawkins brings a lot to it, from what I see, a lot that what Bill McCartney brought to the program.
Dan Hawkins took over the football program in 2006 and became the Buffs' 23rd head coach. After 5 extremely successful seasons at Boise State, Hawkins was brought in to resurrect the winning football tradition in Boulder.
This place is second to none. Coming here was an opportunity to live in a great place, be a part of a great academic institution, and be part of an athletic program that's won a national championship and wants to do it again.
I think Coach Hawkins wants to build on the tradition. He has winning ways, he knows how to win, and he's trying to add that to the tradition that's here.
Tradition is huge, that's the reason you come here, you want to be a Buff.
You can tell how special a place is when years after retirement or years after your playing days out of respect, whatever university you play for, are over, and all the guys who gravitate back for the multitude of reasons, they find themselves back in that environment in which they experienced their college years. They find themselves back in this place that I call their sanctuary for 4 or 5 years.
I had to kind of blink a little bit. 30 years, I just thought, gee whiz, where'd that time go? And to continue on the tradition that has existed here over the years, we were glad that we were able to be, part of that.
I think, when you're on campus and you're in an environment where you think, you're doing very well and you don't really realize the importance of it all till you're out and you're an alumni. And then you look back and you think about how the fans you received and how the alumni received the football team, and you realize what an important part it is to a community like Boulder.
Coming up next, Folsom Field, home to the Colorado Buffaloes, is one of the most picturesque stadiums in America. Boulderites affectionately call it the Hilltop. In 1924, the sunken stadium was carved out of a ravine on the northeast side of campus at the cost of $150,000. It was originally called Colorado Stadium, but in 1944, its name was changed to Folsom Field in honor of Frederick Folsom, the football program's legendary head coach who coached the Buffs 3 different times between 1895 and 1915.
When I first started doing the games in 1971, the end was open. It still is, but now you have the Dow Ward Center there. They used to have what they called the team house, which was a one-story building with a basement that sat down there, and they had wooden bleachers out in front of it. And the other thing is what they did about 1972 or 73 is they lowered the field. By lowering the field, they put about 2 more rows of seats in all the way around the stadium, and also brought things a lot closer.
The Dow Ward Athletic Center, which is the building that's on the north side of the football field, was built in 1990, 1991. The building sprang up in 9 months, and at the time it was the state-of-the-art football facility in the country. You know, brand spanking new, great weight room that overlooked the field. You know, the kids could literally bench press and look out and see if they were going to be playing the following Saturday.
The Buck Vision boards were added about 5 or 6 years ago. They were a great improvement over what we had previously. The older boards were put up with the Dow Ward Center initially, but prior to that, we were looking at technology that was 30 years old.
As you can see from behind the stadium, the old Flatirons area just really became that old, and it was time for an upgrade. And 3 years ago, we put in the new club seat section and 41 skyboxes that I believe are among the elite in the country, and it just creates an incredible overlook of not only the mountains but the city from that area of the stadium.
On game day, if you're able to sit up in the suites at Folsom Field, you look across, not only do you have a beautiful view of the field, you've got a beautiful view of the Flatirons behind the stadium, and then over the top of that, you see the Continental Divide. And when you have that afternoon game in the fall, which is gorgeous here in Boulder, Colorado, the sun begins to set. It is one of the most spectacular views in all of college football.
Folsom Field's capacity in 1924 was about 25,000 seats. Since then, it has more than doubled its seating capacity to over 53,000. Between 1971 and 1998, the playing surface was AstroTurf, but it was returned to natural grass in 1999.
The field consists of Kentucky bluegrass. It's a sand-based field, which is built on 10 inches of sand with pea gravel under that for drainage.
One thing that's not necessarily known is we actually have a natural spring in the southwest corner of the stadium. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, we were known to play around with the height of the grass a little bit. Amount of water on the field, so we were able to have a little bit of a home field advantage there when we had some of the faster teams come into town.
One of the most unique traditions in college football is the running of Ralphie, the Buffs' live mascot. The Buffalo nickname was coined in 1934 by CU students, and in the final game of that season, a buffalo calf and a cowboy were rented for $25 from a local ranch, and they ran along the sidelines.
When Ralphie comes onto the field, leading the team, I think it's a very magical moment as far as college football is concerned.
The biggest and brightest ritual we have at the University of Colorado is when they turn Ralphie loose. And she is awesome, and she's the greatest mascot in college football, and you cannot help but get the hair up on the back of your neck when you see a live buffalo run around on a football field.
Since then, live buffaloes have made appearances at hundreds of Colorado football games over the years. But it wasn't until 1967 that the tradition of running the buffalo onto the field became a reality. Ralphie's horseshoe-shaped path ends along the opposing team's sideline, a reminder that this is indeed Buff country.
When the buffalo was introduced as a new mascot, they had a vote by the students for the mascot's name. The name Ralph was picked for it. They found out that it was a girl, so they decided to name it Ralphie instead of Ralph. The second one that they had was Moonshine. Ralphie 3's name was Tequila. This one here is Rowdy. Some of the people say, well, after Moonshine and Tequila, you get a little rowdy. Rowdy weighs she varies between 900 and 1,100 pounds, depending on the time of the year. She's 9 years old. This will be her 9th season running. Being around a large animal, people are always nervous, and the animals feel it and know it when you're nervous.
The day before the game, this is just practice runs. We do it on the field. It just basically gets her used to doing this again, and just gets us practicing in. Safe. Push her. Push, good job, push. Keep going. Keep pushing. Just let her turn, let her turn.
During a practice, there's been a couple times that she hasn't ran into the trailer. And she just sees green sometimes and says, you know what, we're not going into the trailer today. The guys just hold on for dear life and try and hold on as long as they can.
Oh, it was really fast. The fans love her, the alumni love her. We're really popular. It brings up a lot of fan appreciation. A lot of people want to see it. All the football players have their own traditions. Some of them come out and pat it. Some of them come and greet it. Instant boost of confidence. She means a ton to this institution.
Every Friday night before a home game, the Colorado Golden Buffalo Marching Band assembles in downtown Boulder for the Pearl Street Stampede. The marching band performs the university's traditional songs, including the most widely recognized, Fight CU. The Pearl Street Stampede sets the tone for a great weekend of big-time college football.
This band is extremely spirited. We embody the pride and tradition here at the University of Colorado, and we're very proud of that. We're down here in downtown Boulder on Pearl Street, the pedestrian mall, and we march west down Pearl Street, stopping along way at a few places and playing school songs. This year we have 220 in the band, and that's made up of 13 different instrument groups or performing groups. It is a privilege to be part of this group. There's a lot of tradition as part of the marching band and part of a college marching band. And just to be part of that tradition at a university such as the University of Colorado, I'm very proud to be part of that.
Contrary to popular belief, the University of Colorado's colors are silver and gold, not black and gold. Silver and gold were chosen to represent the state's mineral wealth. But the colors did not look good together on the uniforms, so black was substituted.
Our athletic colors are black and a metallic gold. I think we have the best uniform in the country, bar none. We have the best logo. Our Buffalo logo is the most distinct logo in all of athletics, college, pro, whatever, and our uniforms reflect that as well. Classy, clean. The helmet is a metallic gold helmet. It's got our distinct Ralphie Buffalo logo on the side that's reflective of both not only our mascot but the interlocking CU as well.
It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon just east of the Rockies, and tailgaters are getting ready to head into Folsom Field to watch the University of Colorado battle Arizona State.
I did put rattlesnake in the chili this week. That's the secret ingredient this week.
The Colorado Golden Buffalo Marching Band leads the fans through the Folsom Fieldhouse, and in just a few moments, Dan Hawkins and his fired-up Buffs will take to the field.
Entering the tunnel, big black tunnel, smoke everywhere. Just walking through, you hear the big noise. Everybody's standing up. You see Ralphie, and you know it's go time.
You can't even explain the adrenaline and the feeling and the crowd going wild. you feel invincible. You feel invincible, and you feel like you're ready to run out and do whatever you need to, you know. Nothing's going to stop you.
The funny thing about Ralphie is you get the occasional opponent to try to stand up to Ralphie. I remember Brian Bosworth was trying to act all tough about it, and he had to fly out of the way at the last minute.
Boz apparently was standing near the sideline when she came towards him. And he stood rather stoically with his chest pumped up, and his 1,500-pound buffalo is running right at him. And I think at one point he obviously realized that she wasn't going to veer off her, course. And so at the last second, he dove out of the way.
You know, when you get a buffalo out here and he's snorting and spitting and ready to go and leading the team, I mean, that's if that doesn't fire you up, man, I don't think anything does. I love it to this day. My house is full of about 20 buffaloes.
When Ralphie is coming out, it's just really cool to see a live buffalo in your stadium running, and it brings a sense of pride to you because you're like, it represents us.
At the University of Colorado, the Spirit team is made up of 3 different components: the cheerleaders, the dance team, and Chip, the costume buffalo mascot.
We have 3 suits. I have 5 males that play the chip. He's kept anonymous. And we'll use 3 chips for an entire football game. 1 for all pregame activities, 1 for first half, and 1 for second half. Because you can't be in the suit that long at this elevation without literally almost passing out, climbing the stairs, and with as active as he is, on average, they'll lose between 10 and 12 pounds of water weight in one game. I have been Chip. I did it when I couldn't find one over the summer. We had to do an appearance and I needed to jump in the suit, and that was the last time I'll ever jump in the suit. It's different. You can't see out of it very well. It's like putting on a snowsuit in the summertime.
ASU has something more to worry about than Ralphie and the loud and raucous student section known as the Herd. They will have to deal with playing at an altitude of almost a mile high. Very difficult for all teams coming into Folsom Field.
We're at over a mile high right now, and I don't care what anybody says, the altitude will definitely get to your lungs after a little bit.
There's definitely an adjustment period when it comes to playing that hard and that fast in this amount of thin air.
And the altitude thing is a great thing too. I think getting people in here and making them run at altitude is definitely an advantage for us.
It might be more psychological than anything else. I know a lot of coaches who come in here say, we don't even talk about it. We don't want our kids thinking about it, but you bet it's on their mind.
The mountains, I think, give us a type of edge whenever you come to the stadiums. I think a lot of teams look at the mountains and feel kind of intimidated. They're like, wow, we're really this high up. And for us, it's like an advantage because we know we play in this, we can run in this, altitude, doesn't matter. This is our home, we can do what we want.
Well, the thing you have at the University of Colorado is you have a tremendous on-campus student body, and this is a true college town, so you have tremendous passion and you have an enormous amount of students that come to the game.
When they all show up 12,000 strong in their gold shirts with the fight song on the back, and they're singing the fight song in unison, and they're a very educated student body. They know football.
Student section is one of the best student sections in the college football. They reward us here very well. There's 12,000 students. That can't be said about many of the other public universities. Our student section runs all the way from the 30-yard line all the way through the bowl, through it with the band, and it's a huge student section, and it really can influence the game here at Folsom Field. On every third down, you'll notice that the student section hold up their keys for demonstrate a key play. All the kids bring their keys to the game, and it's just something to get everybody into it, and everybody knows it's third down, everybody's out of their seats. You definitely won't find any students sitting down for the entire game.
We actually have 3 fight songs here at the University of Colorado. They are Glory Colorado, Go Colorado, and Fight CU. The fight song entitled Fight CU is probably the one that most people recognize. It's the one that was added most recently, and our student section and the rest of the crowd at in the stadium, they sing along with the words, and it provides a great atmosphere.
Singing the fight song down with the fans at the end of the game. It's just an awesome feeling. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of a bliss feeling, I guess, to have all those fans around you to show they're appreciating you in this place, and it's a good feeling.
Well, building tradition obviously is something I think we've been pretty good at, whether you're looking at the great players that were here. Obviously, Ralphie being one of the premier mascots in the country, if not the premier mascot in the country, and what she represents. And we're looking at adding a scoring bell, if you will, which is something they used to do back in the early days, and considering adding that. And all those elements of tradition are very, very important. And we're very proud of our new tradition of Ralphie's Kids Roundup, where boosters purchase tickets and allow kids to come to games as a guest of our boosters, and we think that's huge.
The University of Colorado, again, has been here for a long time. There's not a lot of places that's won a national championship, that's had a Heisman Trophy winner, that's had the kind of success that these guys have had. And then you look at where we're going and what's happening around here and the dynamic possibilities and the potential here, you know that the sky literally is the limit.
Definitely a privilege. Coming from a small town and getting a chance to play in a Big 12 team and with all the tradition that's here, it's just awesome to put on that gold helmet and that uniform and run out on this field.
Now Bears back, throws it downfield. J.J. Billingsley picks it off, falling down at the 2-yard line. An ill-advised pass by Rudy Carpenter.
When you're growing up, it's something you always dream about, you know, the Buffs and the black and gold up in Boulder. I mean, every little kid has a dream of coming here.
The best years of my life I spent here at this university. I absolutely love being here, being part of Boulder, just in the mountains. But I've won Super Bowls, and I tell you what, and I told my wife, I said, when I die, I said, I want my ashes sprint over this field right here. Rent a plane and sprinkle the ashes over here, because this is when I had the most fun, and it was the best time of my life.
For Fields of Glory, I'm Brent Musburger.